All righty, traders. Good morning. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge. Hey, Bran, how are you? Happy Wednesday to you guys. Today is, like I said, it's Wednesday. Just kind of pretty slow morning thus far. We've seen risk bounce just a little bit. Well, you know what? Bounce is probably that's stretching it. We are stabilizing. How about that? Stabilizing. And I think that's the way we have to look at it at this point. And I know I talked about this during the F.A.C.E webinar, but I want to reiterate here that we really have to be careful while the S&P is above this 4430 level in the S&P. Okay, that's the 618 retracement. One of the things that you have to realize that this S&P has done, and I'm going to draw a different line just so you guys can see where I'm going with this. One of the things that the S&P has done over the last year is we would make a breakdown and then it end up being a false breakdown. Then we'd rally. Breakdown, false breakdown, rally, right? Breakdown, we're waiting to find out if it's going to be a false breakdown or not. And I don't think the market's out of the woods yet. So when I say the market's not out of the woods, I'm looking at stocks and they look heavy. So there obviously still is a little bit of a risk that we bounce at this point because we've done it on many occasions. So you just have to be really careful with stocks. And that's why I know we're at the 4450. And I said this yesterday. When I put in this pattern in play yesterday, I told people in the chat room, I'm like, hey, we close back above 4450. I'm going to take this off as a, false breakdown. Now, at this moment, we're above 4450, but we're at basically 4451. So I'm looking at a daily close, because if we close back above 4450, I'm just going to have to take it off because it's going to end up being one of these. Well, not saying it's going to be, there's a risk of that, right? So I'm just going to say, again, be very careful while we're above this 44. Oh, shoot, I forgot it. They didn't pull up the bias chart. Hold on. Sorry, guys. While we're above 4430, I'm going to put 4428. Okay. We're going to have to be careful. I'm not going to flip it to bearish, but notice I'm going to keep us on range right now. The reason why I'm going to keep us all on range is because we did close below 4450. All right. Now, as far as I'm concerned, resistance is the same thing that we had from yesterday. Just in case we get a little bit of a squeeze, it's going to be back at 4510. All right. Okay. Let's head over to the euro. All right. So let's start talking about currencies. So one thing I think we have to be a little careful with the euro dollar is it just doesn't start squeezing. We're developing this little inverted head and shoulder pattern, which I'm not going to put too much, I'm going to put too much emphasis on right now, but the thing is we gotta be a little careful here, right? Like that little inverted head and shoulder pattern, especially if we start getting above the neckline, which would be right here. So that resistance is pretty important. I'm going to write down 118.50, but you can kind of see the neckline. It's a little slanted, which makes it a complex inverted head and shoulder pattern because, right shoulder is a little lower than the left shoulder. slanted neckline. So, you know, I'm probably more concerned with it at 1845 than at 1850, but you know, that we're getting into the very nitty gritty on something that I'm not even 100% sure about and confident about. But, and then also you have to imagine if we break 118, then next comes up is 117.70. So this would be the neck. That's the head. This is the right shoulder, right? And I'm going to keep us in range. I'm not going to get super excited there. Sterling. Little false breakout yesterday. Got to keep that in mind. That little false break above 139. I know it's getting a little bit of a lift right now, but that in itself suggests to me that I should be selling the sterling on rallies. Now I've got sterling shorts at the moment, being long euro sterling. So I don't feel the desire that to just short the pound dollar or the cable right now, but you know, for those of you that do, you know, probably be selling it up here, something like that. Okay. So anyway, 139 is key. Support is going to be at 138. Look at that. Big round numbers, playing games. I don't think there's a bias here. I think range is appropriate. You know, you tell me otherwise if you think that it should be anything other than range at the moment. Aussie. So Aussie is held while we're below 73.50. Be a little careful with it. But if we get above 73.50, then we should head back to that 74.20, which you guys know is big, right? So there's resistance there. Now support right here should be at 72.75. We've been as low as 73, so I'm going to write down both of those. 72, 75, 73. And those are your levels. I mean, you know, you want to trade the Aussie. Like if you want to be bullish, wait for this, right? If you want to be bearish, sell it now. Like if you're bearish the Aussie, you might as well just sell it here. Put your stop above 73.50. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna take that trade because I already have dollar longs. I'm long dollar max. I'm long some dollar rand. Right. So I don't feel the desire to just get short the Aussie right now. But if you guys are Aussie bears, you should be shorting it right now from a risk reward perspective. Kiwi. That damn 24% retracement is still holding. So 70, 75, 71, 70. Okay. Range. But, you know, I'm not going to hesitate doing that. Because as frustrating as it is for those of you that are trading the Kiwi, you can't ignore that, right? I mean, it's flagging. But so is the dollar Canadian. Dollar Canadian's flagging, right? Here's the dollar CAD. You guys have any problem with the audio right now? Did you guys hear that?
No, what?
You didn't hear that?
No, I don't hear anything. What are you talking about?
Really?
Are you hearing things? That's worrying.
No, can you hear this?
Oh, that, yeah, I can hear that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Just making sure my mind, I'm like, is it this thing working? I have a really nice microphone. My wife and kids bought it for me for Father's Day last year or a year and a half ago. It's just really like professional microphone. They're like, well, you sit there all day, so you might as well, use it, have something nice. And I'm like, well, I just use a headset, but it's like, I don't know if there's, Hugo says there's a frog in the fish tank. Raj says, I heard you grinding your teeth. Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure, maybe it's Stelios. He's old enough where he like lost his hearing. Do you need a hearing aid, Stelios?
Just very funny. Very funny.
My dad wears one. Granted, my dad's 70 some odd years old, but he wears one, and I'm like, and all the time, I'm in my office. I like trying to give you guys a like kind of a picture of this. It's hot here, and my office is like segregated away from the rest of the house, and I have a fan that constantly is on. At least it's on, 6-7 months out of the year. That's just like it's a floor fan, and I have to keep air circulating in my room in my office. And it's kind of, it's quiet, but it's not like completely quiet. But I can hear it, right? Like I can hear the hum all day long. And, between that and my office being, one of the two doors being shut, my wife and kids are always like trying to talk to me. They're like, all I hear is, it sounds like Charlie Brown, right? The teacher in Charlie Brown. No, and I'm like, what? And I'm constantly doing what? And then they think that I'm actually losing my hearing, but I'm not losing my hearing. I just can't hear over like a fan and, like the air conditioning. And
denial is the first phase. You know that?
Huh?
Denial that you're losing.
Just kidding. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. All right, let's talk. It is. And I do need a hearing aid, and so do you, Stelios. And yes, sure. You're getting old, and so am I. All right. So anyway, let's talk about the dollar CAD here. I think we're probing into triangle resistance. 127.10 is big, I think, because if we break 127.10, it turns, I don't want to say bullish, but I mean, it turns squeezy, right? Well, we break 127.10, we should challenge 127.60 again. Support, and this is the only reason why I really I'm paying attention to this, is because of the huge reaction from triangle support yesterday. That was a big, like, oh my gosh, we're going to sell off. And then we reversed and went to new highs yesterday. So that's going to keep that price action right there, is going to keep people from getting bearish. No one wants to get stuck in that again, right? No one wants to get stuck short again. They saw what happened yesterday. They're like, nah, I'm not doing that, right? So that's going to keep the bulls engaged right now. So I'm looking for dips here. If we can get a dip down to 126.50, I think you might, look at that as a, well, hold on. Let's first of all, let's triangle supports at 126.15, 126.20. So 126.20, 126.50. Dollar Swiss. So really big support here at 91.60. That's trend line support, right? Because if we break that, then we go to 91. So 91.60, 92.40. That's important. Okay. Hey, looks like Steve's back. Steve's back. Steve's back. Steve's back. Steve's back.
Steve. Remember that? Jerry Springer.
How about this? How about this? Scuba Steve. Do you ever see Big Daddy? That's an Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I should see it.
Oh my gosh. You know, Stelios, with all the movies that you love, which I know you like I know like a lot of the American movies that you like, you have to see Big Daddy. It's great.
Yeah. I like Sandler.
Oh, Scuba Steve is awesome. How's it going, Scuba Steve?
I'm good. How have you been, guys?
Good. What's going on, man? We missed you for Face.
Yeah.
We missed your face. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Well, you got bad traffic? What's going on?
40 minutes stuck in 20 meters.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate traffic. Arizona, where I live, is the fourth largest metropolitan area in the United States. Fourth or fifth, one of the two. It's disgusting to drive during rush hour now, even though our freeway system was really made for a huge expansion of people. It still sucks. And if I drive during rush hour traffic, I am really probably the most irritated person on the face of the planet. I'm a very angry driver as it is. I get road rage as it is, but boy, I've been known to throw things at people while driving. So
just reminded me of the.
Just so you guys know.
Just reminded me of the movie Anger Management. You remember it?
With who?
Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, that is a funny movie. I'm very much probably needed Jack. Both of that was actually a pretty funny movie.
That reminded me of Groundhog Day when he goes, "Don't drive angry, don't drive angry." Remember that?
The insurance guy, you mean, right?
No. He's got the groundhog in his hands and he's driving. He's kidnapped it, and and he's saying, "Don't drive angry" to the
groundhog. Yeah.
Anyway, you have to see the scene. It's funny.
So hey, guys, just a really quick dollar max. I'm just going to point out this is one of those that, and I know I told everybody on yesterday on the webinar. I'm going to say it again. We start getting above 20, and you got to start thinking some risk aversion here. So just to watch the dollar max. It's one of those that I'm long. A little bit. I'm not aggressive yet, but and same with the Rand, but those are some that we start getting above 20, and then you have to start thinking, okay, well, and you guys know it's 20.03. And then this is 1980. Oops. Well, 1970 also, but 1980 near term. And you guys know the Rand, we get above 4. You should all be looking at this because we get above 1440 and it's squeezy time. Dollar Norway is the same. I know we were just chatting, but watch the 200-day moving average. That's where we need to really pay attention to. Dollar index. Well, first of all, dollar yen. So dollar yen, really big support comes in. Well, first of all, you can see this horizontal support. So it's 109.10, right? And then, because that's 161% extension right there. So that's really important right now. 109.10. And we can actually put this, I don't want to put it in bearish yet. I mean, should we really put that in bearish? No, we're just going towards range bottom. But I think while we're below 109.60, I think intraday bearish, right? So if we get back to anywhere close to 109.60, probably not a bad place to be on the short side, just intraday, right? Dollar index 92. So yesterday at this time, or, a couple of days ago, whatever it was, Monday, we wrote down 92.30 and we literally dropped to 92.31 or whatever, and then bounced. That just shows you how important that is. And, I know we've written it down every day this week, but it's really important support right now, intraday. And then, we get above 92.85 and then things squeeze a little bit. And it's going to be hard to, it really is going to be hard for the dollar to look, the dollar index, you should not be queuing off a whole lot in any type of risk aversion, because you're going to get the dollar underperforming against the yen and the Swissy. You're going to get it outperforming against the Aussie, the Kiwi, maybe the peso, whatever. So, the dollar index isn't going to be your best indicator. I think, but when it gets to a key level, you should be thinking, okay, dollars at support. What dollar pairs could I trade on the long side, at that point? Or dollars at resistance, I want to short the dollar. Okay, which dollar pairs did I want to short? That's the way you should think about the dollar. Versus, the dollar is at support, I'm buying every dollar pair. That doesn't make any sense. S&P. So we already wrote that down. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, gold, 1770, 1835. And that trend line's still holding, guys. Just 18. Do I write 1835 or 1830 every day? It doesn't really matter. It's all the same right here. 1835. But notice this broken trend line continues to hold dips. That red one right there. So you can see it, dip held, dip held, dip held. Next time we dip, it's going to be really close to this horizontal support. So silver, 23, 24.50. Bitcoin, 48. We'll take that spike low right there. Well, you got 48K, which is our 50% retrace. You know what? Let's give it a little bit more. 49. Because it looks like it wants to punch up there. So let's put 49,000, 43,000, right? 43K, that's important. That has to hold. And then 49K, if you're long, that's probably a place you want to think about. So you notice today I've taken the bullish off of the bias chart, and again, so just keep that in mind, that we have flipped this to range. I am going to flip it to bearish if we close below that 44.28. But that's the thing about going from a wedge that is a bullish wedge pattern, or ascending wedge, excuse me, and then it gets a reversal. This will turn from bullish to bearish pretty instantly, right? So today is like our transitional day, at least right now, that we go back to range, but we can very easily switch that to back to bullish or back to bearish. Okay. Brand says, what do you throw when a trade goes wrong? I have a punching bag outside in the garage, and I beat the crap out of it. So just Brand asks, what do you throw when the trade goes wrong? I have a very expensive weight bag outside that I've had for years that I beat the crap out of. So yeah. Anyway, you want to know what I do? That's what I do. Chad says more like laptops. No, laptops just they are too expensive. I used to break keyboards all the time, but that was no good. No bueno. All right, guys. Scuba Steve, it's all yours, man.
Thank you, Blake.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right, so another day of indecision for markets.
What are we waiting for now?
Don't know. The Fed. When is the next Fed meeting? Actually, hold on. When is it? I can't remember. Meeting calendars. There we go. 2021, September 21st, 22nd. So next week. Okay.
Thank God.
Yes.
So we have another milestone to wait for that's going to produce nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
at some point, it's going to produce something.
And then we can finally start looking for another milestone to be looking for.
Aren't you happy about that?
Extremely happy. Extremely
Good.
happy.
You should
I still haven't reached the point of wanting to hit my head on the wall like when we had the amazing combination of getting daily Brexit news and daily
China
US China trade deal news. Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah,
but no, at the moment we're kind of in a holding pattern, and the whole world is on a holding pattern because most central banks are waiting for the Fed, and until then we're chopping.
Yeah, and the Fed is waiting for a miracle.
Take your profits when you're green on a trade or properly green on a trade. The only thing that's really moving one way is oil.
Of course.
Oil is just, and we said it yesterday, remember? It's just...
here it is, broken out.
A locomotive. Yes.
So
really, it's gunning for new highs now. That's
$80, $80, here we come.
Yeah. Natural gas too, yes, Amira, of course.
Natural gas is just gone vertical, literally.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow, that's gone beyond 45 degrees. Nice.
Yeah. It has literally gone vertical.
You weren't on Face, but I read today on the news. I can't remember where that UK retail natural gas prices went up 20% this week.
Why not? But all of that is
transitory,
coincidental and transitory, and it has nothing to do with anything else. It's just a coincidence.
And of course, it's going to all reverse when natural gas goes back to $4. Not, of course not.
Yeah.
Everything is permanent. On the way up, it's permanent. Anyway, yeah. So there's not much to say. Even cryptos are doing nothing today. Stocks are flat. The dollar's flat. Really, only oil and commodities that are making most of the moves again.
Crude oil, natural gas. We've had some movement in copper and nickel as well today. Copper, though, not having broken out yet, although I do think that it's probably a matter of time to see a breakout here, in which case I will be looking for much higher levels again. So, I'm just monitoring this on a daily basis. Nickel, still doing good, still in an ascending channel that has led us to new highs. So yeah, the vast majority of anything that has intrinsic value has been going up, except monetary metals, because central banks have such a good control of price and price increases, and there is absolutely no reason to worry about losing your purchasing power and all that. So why should they go up, right?
Yeah, monetary metals have the least value anywhere, basically.
Yes. Until the market wakes up to reality, and then they're going to explode higher, and then everybody's going to be like, why is this happening? Yeah, because it wasn't happening earlier on as it should. Now, in other developments that are worth noting is this rejection that we got in the USD yen. We've been monitoring this channel for quite some time here in USD yen. We are seeing some risk off, of course, very, very, very contained, right? A slow pullback, which doesn't yet have any impulsive characteristics and hasn't yet broken down from any major levels. We're going to see the S&P following this. The S&P might make an attempt to break down today, actually. It failed to do so once again yesterday. But it's very early on the day, and you need to keep your hopes rather low until something happens when you're looking to the downside, because it is what it is. This is the markets we have now. USD yen, in any case, has been rejected from this channel trendline resistance, and this is worth noting, and that definitely opens up some downside, with 108.20 being the next downside target. Yes, we know that this is rather nicely correlated to 10-year yields. 10-year yields are still chopping around within this descending channel. So, somewhat of an equivalent picture here. I do expect that it is a matter of time for yields to have a big leg higher. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to begin immediately, but I do think that the next big move, whenever that happens, is going to be to the upside, and whatever move we're seeing to the downside is bound to be rather limited due to yields already being in ridiculous levels in comparison to what is actually happening and in comparison to the fundamentals, inflation, so on and so forth. So keep that in mind. Now, obviously, at some point, with a little bit of a lag, with a little bit of a delay, with one leading the other, both USD yen and the 10-year yields, and of course 30-year yields, 20-year yields, etc., should eventually end up breaking higher. But this rejection we got from USD yen shows clearly that we're not there yet. We might need to spend a little bit more time consolidating. Now, nothing has really changed with gold and silver. They still remain above the broken channels. But on the other hand, nothing major that would make you short-term bullish, right? I of course maintain my long-term bullish bias in both, but short-term, nothing really to write home about. Now, having to do with the S&P, which of course is the global barometer for risk, we closed more or less at the trend line support yesterday. We're trading slightly below it as we speak, but of course, being so extremely early on the day, that really doesn't tell me anything, because by the end of the day we might be 1% up. You never know. But if we do close below this trend line support on a daily closing basis, then yeah, we finally do open the door for some proper corrective price action, because yes, we've had this slow moving pullback again, but how much has it retraced? Not even 2.5% from all-time highs, right? We keep seeing these super minor orderly pullbacks and then just a push to new highs, and again, minor pullbacks that even develop in somewhat of an orderly manner, and then again higher. So let's see if we can finally break the sequence of this. You can see how many times this has happened, especially since we started the last bullish leg higher, which actually began in November. If you notice, we had somewhat of a decent corrective type of price action, bottomed out in the end of October, and literally we haven't looked back since. We've had, just as I said before, minor pullbacks or minor consolidations, and then new all-time highs, and then again, and then new all-time highs. So really, anybody that has been trying their luck being on the short side probably has lost money several times on the way higher. Yeah, at some point this sequence has to break, and we have to see something like a normal corrective move. And I'm just hoping that this is going to be the occasion, that we're going to break through this trend line support, and we're finally going to see this happening. But until we confirm on a daily closing basis, we remain trapped in the status quo, right? Let me see if there was something else I wanted to mention, because more or less these were the things I had in mind. Yeah, and there's nothing else that has actually moved that I haven't noticed. Yeah, Bitcoin is a little bit more than 1% higher, which for cryptocurrencies is like zero, literally. I still think there is a very good chance that we're going to see another leg lower in cryptocurrencies before we see a higher high. Technically speaking, purely technically speaking. So, this type of rebound that we've seen during the past 1.5 to 2 days won't change my mind. Although on the other hand, crypto markets, as I've mentioned multiple times, have the tendency of ignoring sometimes even technical developments. They can completely ignore a big impulsive type of move and go on like it never happened, right? So yeah, peculiar markets. So yeah, that's it. I'll be more than happy to go over the questions you might have. Thanks, Blake. Hi, Stelios and Steve. Hi, Alexander. 22nd of September Fed, yes. Also natural gas, yeah, we had a look at natural gas. Really, we've exhausted upside targets natural gas. It still looks extremely bullish, but on the other hand, is there any risk reward to chase it up here? No, there isn't. But I do think we have a lot more to go. So any type of corrective pullback, I think is a buying opportunity. Natural gas and remains so. Platinum remains, I have to tell you, very, very, very weak in comparison to the vast majority of the assets. Here it is. As we've said, next downside target is roughly at 860, right? 850, 860, 870. We have the trend line support of this channel. We have the 61.8 at 860. We have this horizontal support resistance area a little bit higher. I would say a little bit above 865. So, anywhere between these levels, it's an interesting area to be a buyer if you want to be jumping the gun. Alternatively, if you want more confirmation, I would be waiting for this price action to finish by an eventual breakout of this descending channel, in which case I would be looking for much higher levels. I still think that platinum is in a corrective move for this move higher, the one that bottomed at 564 and topped above 1330. And I think this is the correction we're currently unfolding, the corrective move for that move higher. And I do think that the next big move is also going to be to the upside. PALL. I have no idea what that is. Let's have a look at it. Is this the one? Palladium shares. Okay, yeah, because this looks totally like a palladium chart. Yeah, it totally looks like a palladium chart. We've already talked about palladium several times the last few days. If you notice, we've broken through this channel, which means that we are seeing an impulsive move unfolding here, right? So even if this is a corrective move, there is a lot more to go before we finally complete it. We're currently testing this important 1970 area. I'm doing the analysis here because I already have the analysis here, and as you understand, it is a perfect proxy with what you showed me, right? The next downside target breaking down from there is closer to 1800. And I do think that 2200 should be resistance from this point on. As we said back there, that a rebound, if you remember, I kept insisting there that any rebound towards 2500 is going to be a good shorting opportunity. And that's exactly what it proved to be. We did rebound towards 2500. We tested that area 3-4 times within a period of like 10 days. And being unable to break through it to the upside several times, we just collapsed lower. And I do think that there is more downside to palladium. And as I said, 2195 is now the equivalent buying opportunity. Selling opportunity, right, for a continuation lower, with 1800 being the next downside target. What else? Anything else? ALEC. Let's see. ALEC. Okay, this has been playing out nicely. This is what we drew the last time we saw it. Nice. It has worked out very nicely. We did indeed break down from this triangle. We did indeed test more or less the 200 DMA, and we are indeed seeing a rebound of it. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. Perfectly plotted. Now the question is, what happens from here? This rebound is not yet is not yet persuasive enough, if you ask me. So there is the possibility that we can even see more weakness, right? If we stall exactly here, right? So from a risk reward perspective, perhaps trying the short side from here makes sense. But we break higher from here, there's a chance then we've seen the low and the 200 daily moving average held once again, and then we should be seeing higher prices. So let's see, this is a pivot area in essence, right? So wait for it. Let's see what we get. Is this the team? Is this the one? Probably, because I see we've seen it before, and I made this comment about price action having gone completely vertical. So, you know, this is a parabolic type of the probably end of a big bull market. We've had this conversation before with Moderna, if you remember, where I warned that once we find an end to this vertical move, there's going to be a very vertical retracement. So I think the exact same fate is going to be shared by this one, Atlassian Corporation PLC. Meaning,
are they the ones who make TeamViewer? I think they might be. Anyway,
even if they are, TeamViewer has been bought by Microsoft.
Have they? Okay, maybe I'm mistaken. Okay.
Let me see.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No, I have TeamViewer always open on my computer for obvious reasons. Let me see. Let me go to help about TeamViewer. Let's see if it has any mention of the company. No, I don't see any mention of that name here.
Okay, I remember this brand. It's
copyright. It says TeamViewer Germany GmbH.
Okay, fine. All right. No worries, man. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that you know, chasing this up here makes zero sense. We already see some bigger side divergences here, and I do think that at some point this is going to go like this, literally like this. And once this happens, the door for the exit is going to seem extremely small for everybody to be able to leave at the same time, right? So I would really advise against chasing this thing up there. We have upcoming earnings from what I see rather soon, in a month time. Who knows? Earnings can end up being the catalyst for the beginning of such a move lower. Who knows? Sometimes even a few days before earnings come, you might get people, you know, doing some profit taking. And once that happens in markets that have gone completely vertical, then this can evolve in, you know, some kind of a vicious circle, you know, because people see price going down, they know that this is already overdone, and they're immediately thinking of dumping what they have as well. And then, you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Who knows? Let me see if we have anything else. Atlassian is a very big company, says Alexander. A few days ago, Steve commented also the company, and I mentioned that I've worked with their software for quite some time. They have quite a good package of software where we can apply Scrum methodology. Oh, are they the one that also have made Monday? Probably that's the company we're talking about. No, okay. Okay, so anything else, guys, gals?
Okay, bro.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.